What's going on, y'all? This is One Piece chapter 1072 review. I'm just going to be giving you my thoughts and analysis on everything I saw in the chapter, and I think that this whole chapter was pretty wild, so let's just get right into it. The first thing you see is the cover page. On the cover page, you see Judge and Sanji actually have kind of similar outfits, with like the tie and stuff. I just kind of thought that was kind of cool. When you look at One Piece chapter 1070, you also notice that Judge is also wearing a similar outfit to Sanji pre-time skip, so it just kind of looks like, like the duality there. I thought that was pretty neat. Caesar always had those horns on his head, like those goat type horns. I don't know another character off the top of my head who has horns like that. I think maybe the goat in Syrup Village. I don't remember his name, but he also had like more circular shaped horns, so like those aren't really the same, but maybe they're from the same race, who knows. You also see in this chapter Bonnie uses her power to basically attack. She uses two powers, the distorted future to buff herself up, and then she uses the age skewer to basically de-age Vegapunk. And then in this power you see that when she de-ages him, she actually becomes very fatigued. So like, I wonder if that is one of the drawbacks to her power. She only used 2 attacks and she's already sweating bullets. So like, I think that's a huge drawback. Also at the same time, you see those gems come out of Vegapunk, and so I guess that's how she gets the name Jewelry Bonnie, because she turns people into gems. I just always imagined like Sonic, like hitting you and you just blowing up into rings. I don't know why. I thought that was funny. I hope Oda does that for some type of like gag in the near future. So next we see Kuma's climbing the red line. This is like a parallel to the robot that we've been told was climbing 200 years ago, but when he got to the top he stopped moving. I'm hoping that when Kuma gets to the top, maybe he moves, or maybe he'll reveal something about his past inside the memory bubble that we see in the next panel with Bonnie. And most likely it's going to be him climbing and fighting at Mary Joie. Also being told with like this backstory of what's going on with Bonnie and the Kuma's memories. I feel like in the very next chapter we will probably go back into flashback mode. I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that in this flashback we find out about Bonnie and how she came to be. I think it's possible that Bonnie could be a clone or android of some type, but we really have to wait and see. Like, it's one of those things that Oda has left in the air, so like it's possible. I wouldn't rule it out, but I wouldn't really like dive into that just yet. A beep alert goes off that kind of indicates to Bonnie where Kuma's like memories are stored. That made me think about the first time like the defense systems went down. Is somebody like actively watching Vegapunk and trying to sabotage him? Because like none of this is feels like a coincidence. Like the beep alert just kind of came out of nowhere, and then she found the door immediately. So like, yeah. Next thing I wrote down is that Zoro's about to fight all the Seraphim single-handedly, because Zoro will be the dark-skinned hunter. The Seraphim can act on their own, but what they do is based on the orders they give. So what I'm saying is, like, when they were given the order to help Luffy, they basically did everything they could to help Luffy, but as soon as they got the order to, attack, they became like that was their goal now. So like, I guess their kind of intentions shift. So I wonder if they'll ever be able to have their own intentions and like not just follow orders. We see that Edison, Lilith, Frankie, and Sanji are now going down to fight. I feel like a fight has to happen, or what's the reason of sending them all to fight Rob Lucci? I don't think that that's necessary. Like, if Lilith gets down there and she can just give the order for them to stop attacking, I don't think that would be what's happened. So maybe there's something else like lingering, but I can definitely see that, like, Kaku maybe stays down, or Kaku fights Brook, which I wanted from before, and Kaku's weakened now, so like maybe Brook can fight him. And then like we get Stussy versus Rob Lucci, PX Kuma versus Frankie, PX Jinbei versus Sanji, PX Mihawk versus Zoro, and then Lilith versus PX Boa. Also, we see Sanji calling himself a Seraphim, which is like hilarious considering the fact that like he calls himself Sanji Fim, and then Frankie calls him Twirly Fim, and then it's like it's hilarious because I guess he follows all of Nami's orders, but he's also like an android himself, so that's funny. Rob Lucci gives the order for the Seraphim to attack a laboratory, and then the Seraphim themselves, like two of them, Jinbei and Boa, use laser beams, while Kuma uses his devil fruit and Mihawk uses his sword. I wonder if those two, Kuma and Mihawk, are equipped with lasers or if they just do not have them. I thought that was interesting. So when Kaku gets bit by Stussy at the end, he doesn't fall out of his awakened zone form. So I usually when characters are knocked out, they get dropped from their zone form. So I feel like Kaku could get up pretty soon, and that could be, when his fight returns, he could be weakened and whatever. And then the fight, the chapter basically ends with the reveal that Stussy is a clone of Miss Buckingham. That was a pretty like out of nowhere reveal because we don't really even know who Miss Buckingham is. So like it's just kind of, now we're just waiting for the information about Miss Buckingham. A lot of things about her being Buckin, but even if she is Buckin, right, we still don't know what relevance that is to the story outside of, like, we knew that she was with Rox, so it's like relevant that that's Buckin, but like because it says Stussy was in the Rox Pirate, it doesn't say Buckin was in the Rock Pirate, so like we don't really know what the whole deal is there. So maybe the first thing that comes to my mind is maybe the original Buckin was in the Rox Pirates, and now that this clone happened, she's trying to recreate the Rox Pirates. And I feel like through the clones, there have already been like several people who could be seen as clones of characters who were Rox Pirates. So like the first person, let's say Bonnie. I'm not gonna say that this is the most out of them, but Bonnie is a pink-haired character. It is possible that Bonnie could be a clone of Big Mom. I don't really know if I would believe that per se, but that is possible based on just the hair color, Whitebeard Jr. feels like he could be a failed clone. Like it says that she was Stussy. It says that Stussy was the first successful clone, and the way that Whitebeard Jr. acts and the way that he looks like a failed clone, like a cliche version of a failed clone. So and he obviously has Whitebeard's power, so I definitely think that is a possibility. Yamato, that could be a character who is a clone of Kaido. I'm not going to put that outside the realm of possibility, especially because we don't really know about Yamato's past and how Yamato came to be. And then the last thing is Blackbeard, who we know had scientific experiments done on him, and he's obsessed with rocks. So he could be a clone of rocks. That could be just a thing there, and that's what we're looking for. So, like, I definitely think that is also a possibility. Those are the only characters who I feel like could be clones, and all the clones are kind of around the Rox Pirates. Like, why would they mention that Stussy's part of the Rox Pirates if that's not relevant to her being a clone? So I think that maybe Stussy herself is in cahoots with Blackbeard, and I think that would be wild. But yeah, I think that's right now is my current headcanon and my current thoughts going forward with this chapter. I thought this was a really cool chapter, and I just want to kind of know what you guys think. If you guys think this is a cool chapter too, let me know.